Real quick, I want to talk about a mouse that's definitely deserving of an award from me. If you haven't heard of the company One by One, until last week I hadn't either, but apparently there's a lot of reviews, people have heard of them, so maybe you have. I saw this mouse, and it's a Avago 3050 sensor, and it looked really interesting to me, but you know, at the same time, it's an OEM design, and I'll cover that in a second. It looked interesting enough to me to be like, for $12, let's check it out. You get a lot more than what you think you do for $12 in this mouse. So this mouse features an Avago 3050 sensor. It's got a DPI switch on the top, a forward and back button on the side, wings to rest your hands on, and while it looks like a plasticky side, it's actually a rubberized texture plasticky side with a nice ABS coating on top that just makes it feel really nice to have in the hand. It does have a slim body design, which isn't for my big hands necessarily, but it might be fine for you. Or if you're somebody that can hold it like that and use the wings to maneuver, it's also really good to do it that way too. You have LED lighting in the back on the bottom, you have LED lighting on the logo, and the wheel is LED lit too, but it's sort of kind of a lesser light, I guess you could say. It's not as bright as I'd like it to be, but otherwise fine. It just feels great. I don't know a better way to say it. For $12, even if it didn't have the features that it does have, then it's still a really good buy. It has a nice weight to it, it feels comfortable. You have a switch on the bottom if you don't prefer the lights to be able to turn the lights off, but you can also turn them on. A feature we don't usually see in cheap mice that come with LED lighting. Usually you're just kind of stuck with what they give you, and that is not the case here, something I like a lot. The 3050 sensor doesn't have any optical bleed from any utilities used for tracking, so that's great too. When you're moving cheap mice around, usually you'll get like a light up effect inside that's red, a red glow, and it's pretty ugly to see. I'm glad that that is not implemented in this mouse here. So there's just a few other things to talk about really. They have included the ability to go in and program it, which is great. You can set polling rate to 1,000. It comes 500 poll out of the box, but you can go in there and change your polling rates to 1,000. You can change mouse pointer speeds. You can assign DPI lighting. So while on their advertisement, what I noticed is it tells you what light indicates what DPI you're on. You can go in there and make them all blue if you want. That's something that's really cool. You can pick different colors, and you can have a breathe effect or a static effect. The only thing that would have made this mouse even better, especially for the price, would have been zoned RGB lighting with lighting effects included inside the program or the software itself, so that you could go in there and change it and have different effects happen. That would have made this a very stellar mouse. However, for $12 and everything you get from it, it is on point. I absolutely love using this little mouse, and it's great. I can't believe it's as inexpensive as it is, so that's definitely something worth considering. If you're looking to not spend a lot of money and you want to get something that's good, that has a lot of features, this mouse really encompasses it. We'll talk about the switches here. They're super responsive switches. I love Corsair switches, which use an Omron. I guess it depends on what type of Omron switch they use, depending on what type of model of Corsair mouse you get. But they use Omron switches, which are 20 million click life cycles. Not the case here. They don't actually disclose what type of switches they use, but they sure do feel like ultra responsive Omron switches. However, I'm going to assume, and I'm probably either right or wrong, obviously, but I'm going to assume that they're HUU switches because they don't talk about the click life cycle on it, which means that they're probably not so super hyped about sharing that. HUU switches are more affordable, less expensive switches, and usually they're a little tough to use. I don't like them as much as I like Omron switches, but the HUU switches, if that's what's in here, are probably a 3 million click life cycle versus a 10 to 20 million click life cycle you can get out of Omron switches. However, the depression actuation on the mouse is great. It's just super responsive. I love it. It's that perfect in between for me. They're not so sensitive that resting your finger is going to cause actuation. They're not so ultra difficult to depress that you have to push several times and you get a click every other time. They are just really good switches, and that's something I'm really happy about. The build quality just feels nice. It feels like something that deserves to be on the shelf and sold for about $40. I like this mouse a lot. It's really nice. I do have a little bit of a complaint. These side buttons, the forward and back buttons here on the side, where my thumb is, they're kind of uncomfortable to get to easily, and that's probably one of the draws I have on the mouse, but otherwise, man, it's great. You got a pretty decent length braided cable. It's about 6 feet long, so a good 6-foot braided cable in order to reach your faraway tower if you need to, in order to plug it in if you don't have some sort of pass-through elsewhere. And of course, it's gilded. Everybody likes to say they got this gold-plated USB. It's really just kind of a gimmicky sales thing. It doesn't really mean much, but a lot of people say gold is more ultra-responsive than nickel. And while that's probably not untrue, it really doesn't matter. But anyways, guys, that's a quick look here, and it's definitely deserving because I'm all about bang for the buck, and with this, you're spending about $12, and you're getting a programmable mouse that has lighting features that just really feels nice, good build quality, and I would be remiss if I did not give it the gold award for what it is. And this is likely going to be the best buy of the year I've made. $12 for a mouse like this is incredible. I absolutely love it. Again, the design, the body, everything, it might not be for you, but if you can get past that, if you think you could use it, if you don't mind the wings on the side, it's a comfortable, good mouse with good glide using the 4 Teflon feet here at the bottom that I surely forgot to mention. And it's nice. It kind of gives you what you're looking for, hopefully. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. Have a great day, night, whatever it is. I'll see you in the next video that I do. And I'm glad that that is not encompassed. I'm glad that that is not implement. However, for $12, hold on, I'm confusing you probably because I'm confusing myself.